In this video, you will learn how to navigate around the document window, which is this middle window and the main work area of Photoshop. Now for this video and the rest of the videos, I'm going to go ahead and close out the Learn panel and the Libraries panel just so we have a little more space to work with. And I'll collapse panels and bring them in as we need them. So in the document window, we have three main parts. At the top, we have all of our tabs, and the tabs give us some information about the document we're working on. So here we have the name, b.jpg, we have the magnification, 16.7%, and we have the color mode, RGB, at 8 bits. Now this will change depending on whatever settings you have going on for the particular image and how you're zoomed in or out. Now as you can see, this image is pretty large already, and it says it's 16.7%. If we were to zoom into 100%, it would fill out the screen because unlike the other images, this image is a lot larger than the ones we've looked at already. The other images are 1920 by 1280 pixels, and this is 6000 by 4000. So we're going to use a very large image to show how to navigate around because it'll keep the quality of the image as we zoom in and out and pan around. So we have our main work area here in the center. And then at the bottom, we have some more information about the document and the canvas that we're working in. We also see at the bottom, it shows 16.67% again, and we show the document size. So currently this document is 68.7 megabytes. It's a very large file size because of how big the document is in terms of resolution. Now, one of the things that you'll do most frequently is you will zoom in and out of this document. So if we're working on this image, you might want to go in and adjust the B that we see here, maybe change the colors, or maybe you want to blur out the background and do different things with this document. And to do that, we will want to zoom in and out of this document. We've seen this before, but if you go to the top and you click on View, we have some options here. We can zoom in and out, and we can also fit the image to the screen. We can also show it at 100% or 200% in the size that it would be printed at. So let's go ahead and just click on 100%, and you can see it zooms that image in because the image is being displayed at 100%, but because it's so large, it's over flooding the screen size that I have. If we go back to View and we click Fit on Screen, it'll go ahead and shrink or enlarge the image to the confounds of the document window. Here you can see it's at 24%, but we can see the image very nicely here. Now if I want to zoom in, I can go and click on Zoom In here, or I can click on Zoom Out. There's also some shortcut keys associated with these, so you can see 100% is Control or Command +1, Fit on Screen is Control or Command +0, and Zoom in and Zoom Out is going to be Control plus the plus button, or Command plus the plus button, or Control plus the minus button, or Command plus the minus button. So I'm on a PC, and if I hold down the Control button and I hit the plus button, it will zoom in for us. And if I hold the Control and I hit the minus button, it will zoom out. Now this is great if I'm using a tool like say the brush tool and I don't want to use the magnifying tool at the bottom, which I'll show here in a minute. I can go ahead and zoom in and out with Command or Control plus or minus and never have to leave that tool. Now you may want to use the magnifying glass or the zoom tool. And whenever we highlight over a tool, you can see it's going to show a little video of how that tool is used, its name, its shortcut, and what it does. Magnifies or reduces the view of an image, and its shortcut key is Z. So I can go ahead and select that tool, and when I do, you can see my icon or my cursor changes to a magnifying glass with a plus sign. So I can go ahead and click on this image, and it will zoom in for me. Or I can hold down and it'll start zooming in. Now if I need to zoom out, I can go to the top and you can see we have a plus or a minus magnifying glass, and if I click on the minus and I hold down, it'll zoom out for us. Or I can single click and it'll zoom out. Now I can change whatever tool I'm using for the magnifying glass by holding the Option key on macOS or the Alt key on Windows, and it'll change to whatever one I don't have selected. So here we have the zoom out magnifying glass, and if I hold Alt on the PC or the Option button on macOS, it changes to a plus sign. So I can hold Alt and I can zoom in, and then when I release, it'll go back to the zoom out. And if I go up to the top and I click on the zoom in and I hold Alt, it'll go to the zoom out. And when I release, it goes back to the zoom in. Now this is very handy because as I begin working, I'm going to want to use the shortcut key, which is the Z key. So I can hit Z, pull up this, and I'm zoomed in. I can hold down and zoom in on a piece of an image. And then when I'm done, I can hold the Alt or the Option key and I can zoom back out again. The other thing that you'll want to do is you'll want to move around this image. So let's say we zoom in on this bee here and we do some adjustments, but we need to work on a part of this flower that's off to the right hand side that we can't see right now. Well, I'll need to go over and select the hand tool. And the hand tool pans over different parts of an image, and that shortcut key is the letter H. So I'm going to select that, and now I can have this hand, and when I click and drag, it's actually going to move me around the workspace. Now keep in mind, this isn't moving the actual image, it's just moving the part of the image that we see. So if I hit the Z key, and I'm going to go ahead and hit Alt on the PC and zoom out a little bit, and then I select that hand tool again with the H key, you can see what's happening here. I'm just moving around the workspace with this hand tool. And using these combinations of tools will really help get you around the image as you begin editing. Now, just like we had the Control or Command plus or minus to zoom in and out shortcut keys, we also have one for the hand, and that is if we use the space bar. So I'm going to pick a different tool, like say the pen tool, and you can see that my icon is a pen. And if I hold space, it immediately changes to a hand. So this is a very quick way for me to move around, and then when I release, it'll just go back to the tool I was on, which in this case is the pen tool. There are some other options within these tools, so if I click on the magnifying glass or the zoom tool, and you look at the top, we can resize windows to fit, zoom all windows at one time if you have multiple windows open. You can do what's called a scrubby zoom, and then we can also set it to 100% fit screen or fill screen, just like you would see in the view options. So if I go ahead and click on fit screen here, it'll go ahead and center this back for us. And then I can continue working either by holding space or selecting the hand tool or using a shortcut key like Z and Alt or Option and changing my magnification. And that'll just give you a very quick and easy way of getting around. And depending on what you're doing, you might use a combination of these. I typically use a lot of holding the space bar because I'll be using a tool like the brush tool, and I'll use a space bar to move around. Maybe I'll hit Control plus to zoom in and then hold my space bar, and then maybe Control minus to zoom back out again, or go up to the top and just reset the view so that we can see it nice and easily.